Hello and welcome to another lesson on reported speech. This is a course by Askademic, specifically created for students of English with an intermediate level. This is our course plan. We are on lesson 4 and today we're going to deal with reporting functions. Before, we dealt with lesson 1 where we introduced reported speech. On lesson 2, we learned how to report statements. And on lesson 3, we learned how to report questions. So now we're going to delve into how to report functions. So I hope you enjoy this course and this lesson. Welcome to lesson 4, reporting functions in English. We will use the word functions to refer to parts of speech used to give advice, commands, make requests or warnings, also suggestions. And for example, we will use the following verbs: advise, tell, ask, warn, plus the personal object pronoun, plus an infinitive clause. Don't worry if you don't understand these concepts now, because we will illustrate this structure by means of different examples in a minute. Notice that the verb suggest, we will also see this in detail later on, behaves in a totally different way, grammatically speaking. It is never followed by an infinitive clause, but it is followed by a that clause or a verb in the ing form. So, when reporting advice, in direct speech, for example, you should take a rest. Somebody says you should take a rest. So when you report it in reported speech, he advised me to take a rest. So here we clearly see the verb advise in the past. He advised me, plus the personal object pronoun, me. He advised me, plus the infinitive clause, to take a rest. He advised me to take a rest. Notice that when we are reporting a statement in the negative form, like you shouldn't go there in direct speech, you shouldn't go there, we use the same structure plus not. So advise plus the personal object pronoun plus not plus the infinitive clause. So you shouldn't go there is reported into he advised me not to go there. When reporting commands, we use the same structure, but we use the verb tell. So speak English. When we report this command, we say he told me to speak English. So notice that we keep the same structure, but using the verb tell. Again, when reporting commands, when reporting a statement in the negative form, like don't speak Spanish, he told me not to speak Spanish. So we see the structure repeats all the time, right? When we have a negative structure, don't speak Spanish, he told me not to speak Spanish. Reporting requests. In direct speech, close the door, please. When we report it, he asked me to close the door, right? The same would happen if we say, don't close the door, right? He asked me not to close the door. Here we see, please don't be late. He asked me not to be late. Notice that so far, we are keeping the same structure. We are using the infinitive form, an infinitive clause. In direct speech, when reporting this warning, you shouldn't touch this. When we report it, he warned me not to touch that, right? So we use the verb warn plus the personal object pronoun plus not plus the infinitive form, infinitive clause. Well, this is a different structure that we're going to use for the verb suggestion. So when reporting suggestions, for the verb suggest, when reporting suggestions, like for example, let's stay in, right? Typically we use let's for suggestions. Let's stay in. We can report it in 3 different ways, but we can't use the infinitive form or infinitive clause with a verb suggest. So we should never use an infinitive clause. So we may use these 3 different alternatives. He suggested that we stay in, or that we should stay in. We can use it or not. Here we use the infinitive form. Or he suggested that we stayed in the past. Or simply, he suggested staying in, an ing form, right? So remember that when reporting functions, in general, we use an infinitive clause, except when we are reporting suggestions, except when we are using the verb suggest, because suggest behaves in a different way, has a different grammar structure, right? So we use suggest plus a that clause or plus an ing form. So we have come to an end. So let's practice now. We will be doing the exercises together. I will give you time so that you can think about the answers and practice how to report functions in English. Let's do it together. Number 1, can you please close the door? She asked me to close the door. So we use the infinitive clause. Clean your bedroom. This is a command. She told me to clean my bedroom. Again. So how are you getting on so far? Okay, I hope you are doing well. Number 3, you should go on holiday. She advised me to go on holiday. So far, so good. Number 4, you shouldn't take that bag. She warned me not to take that bag. So we have a negative statement. You shouldn't take that bag. She warned me not to take that bag. And here we have come to a suggestion. So remember what we said about the verb suggest? So let's see if you can put it into practice. I would like you to think of 3 different alternatives to report this statement. Let's eat sushi. She suggested one alternative. Second option. Third option. So let's see. She suggested eating sushi, the ing form, that we eat sushi or that we should eat sushi, or that we ate sushi. Well, this is a command, so you can use tell, or in this case, she told me, or she ordered me, show me your books. She ordered me to show her my books. Number 7. Let's go to the movies. He suggested, again, remember what we said about the verb suggest? 3 alternatives. He suggested going to the movies. He suggested that we should go to the movies, or he suggested that we went to the movies. Number 8. You should talk to your husband. He advised me to talk to my husband. Number 9. You shouldn't eat fast food. Remember what we said about negative statements? You shouldn't. So he advised me not to eat fast food. And the last one, number 10, stop making that noise. He told me to stop making that noise. So I'm so excited, and thank you on behalf of Askademic. I hope you have enjoyed this lesson on reporting functions. So see you later on lesson 5, which is our last lesson, where we will be summarizing everything we have learned on reported speech. Reporting statements, reporting questions, and reporting functions. So I hope this has been a great lesson and you have learned a lot. See you later.